Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Intel Extreme Masters here in Taipei. We're not quite in Taipei, we're in Cologne technically, but we are here in the wee hours of the morning. I am Lee D. Smith, joining me is Joe Miller, Carlos Ocelot Rodriguez Santiago, easy for me to say, and myself, Dexter Feldkamp. So we're going to go through, it is game 2 starting in just a moment. Dexter's going to be joining us throughout the match for this one. Well, let's just quickly recap, because it has been a bit of a break. We're just waiting for a few problems out of the venue to be sorted out. They are back underway, and Pick and Bans is about to start. But let's briefly recap. If you missed it, it was very much an AD-heavy comp for a Taipei Assassins. They went with the Ezreal in the mid lane and the Sivir, of course, whereas it was the double assassination. So are we expecting to see the same here, Dexter, or are we going to see some changes from either side?
I don't think that we will see any change from the Flash Wolves. They will just go in with their composition that they had. Morgana probably very contested.
Rek'Sai open.
Rek'Sai is open here right now.
Bam, and instant,
yeah.
Insta-lock, okay. That's something. But you have to see what they give up for that. Probably like a Janna Jarvan or Sivir Jarvan, which is... I'm not sure if that's good to do, because I think in competitive play, just... If you're really good at... Wins is a much better jungler, so I don't think that the Rek'Sai first pick is that potent here for the Flash Wolves, actually.
No, maybe is what makes the change, you know? I mean, what makes the difference, because the hero is so good that maybe that's the edge he needs to be even out, you know?
Okay. They're actually not picking Jarvan here. I don't agree with the LeBlanc first pick if they really lock that in.
You don't?
Because there's so much stuff open that counters it. Like, just pick a Lulu. Lulu does very well against LeBlanc in lane.
That's true.
It's like a very hard counter, and they showed that both teams really like the Lulu pick here already. And it's very contested in top lane or mid lane, so I wouldn't be surprised to actually see like a little pickup here from the Flash Wolves. And as we talked about it, Morgana, second rotation again. It's their go-to pick. They really need that champion to make their comp work.
Even though I agree with you on maybe not picking that early LeBlanc is the best idea, but they picked LeBlanc plus Sivir, which is actually really good together, because you know you will be able to one-shot the AD carry whoever that is, because it's not Sivir, you know? So
but Janna is left open.
That is
Janna
true, but
is a very contested pick and should be picked almost all the time, because what she offers to everything is just too overwhelming. She's very good at offensive play. She's very good at roaming. Her 5% movement speed aura in teamfight is very huge.
But Sword Art only plays Morgana, or he's been playing Morgana mostly, pretty much. So
maybe that's why. Maybe, yeah, that guy will pick Morgana anyway. Why would
exactly.
Pick Janna? That's another point. Yeah, it's true.
Well,
so
you were talking. Yeah, you were saying, you know, I don't agree with LeBlanc. You just pick Lulu, or you pick LeBlanc and Lulu, which is what they've done.
That's very smart here. Yeah, I really like the Lulu pickup because it actually denies everything that does well against LeBlanc. And top lane has been banned out. Kassadin, Lissandra now, all those picks and Aurelia do well against LeBlanc to lock them down. So we have a lot of we have a lot of champions. We have a lot of champions that are actually banned out that do well against LeBlanc, so I actually expected Lulu to be picked up by the Wolves.
And I think for TPA, they're basically going to get Janna now. So all they've done is switched Ezreal for LeBlanc, which is not a bad change after all.
No.
And they've got the exact same team from the first game. We are going to see Maple, looks like he's going to go towards the Zera. This is something that worked very well for him in qualifiers.
Here's the thing. I think we saw some Mundo bans throughout the tournament against their team. Yeah. And maybe we will see why it was banned against them, because they picked it. So Mundo is very, very, very good against double AP compositions. And true. The second we hit the 20-minute mark, he will be unkillable. The second he gets his first defense item, Spirit Visage, he will be unkillable pretty much.
That's
so
true.
We just have to see how the late game works.
Also, Sivir is not a very huge damage AD carry, so who is gonna kill Mundo? You know, everything will come to how fed Mundo is. On the other hand side, we have Annie, Sivir, Jarvan plus the Lulu W against Sherath. You know, that's going to be really painful for him, right?
That's clearly a change, because you would have thought Janna would have been locked in there. Janna was available and given, but they adjusted to an Annie. Why would they do that?
I mean, Annie is very good against Xerath probably, because just lock him down. Xerath is very immobile. If you catch him out once, if Annie will follow up, that's the thing. Like, usually people play Sivir and Annie together because they complement each other very well. They have like the speed up. Annie doesn't have to flash to get in range. She's not as flash reliant as without Sivir, and just as locked down. And I think they have like a pretty much all-in composition here with Jarvan, LeBlanc, have the Lulu paired in for the knock-up and everything. So I actually like Annie a lot more. Like, given the circumstances, as good as Janna is, Annie might be a better pick here for them.
You are right. You are right. Definitely. Annie the best pick. Plus the Lulu W. It's just too broken. Yeah, too broken. It's too much movement speed, man.
Too tanky. Yeah.
Too broken. There you go. You've heard it. It's official. The Annie Lulu combo is broken, in the words of Ocelot. Also, I'm interested to see. I talked about it in the last match. We've seen Stake on big tanky champions throughout the tournament. Switch to Kassadin wasn't really great. Goes back to a tanky champion, so it seems to be something that obviously works out well for him.
Yeah, and I mean, if you look through all those bans, I mean, there was not a lot of options left still in that top lane, right? I mean, there were a lot of top lane bans going in there. With the fact then that, you know, his Gnar actually was, I think, his standout champion so far that we've seen so far. They actually banned that away, which he was probably thinking afterwards, maybe we should have left that one open in the end.
Because it would have been first pick.
Things would have been a little bit different, but that's not how it works every time. All we know, though, is, of course, that the Taipei Assassins are 1-0 up in this best-of-3, and the Yeo Flash Wolves have got a bit of work to do.
Yeah, they do. If you've just joined us, ladies and gentlemen, first game was controlled by Taipei Assassins. I wouldn't say dominated, that's for sure, because Yeo Flash Wolves had a few chances to get back in there. Let's give you a quick roster rundown from the blue side. It is the Yeo Flash Wolves. They are 1-0 down. Stake on that Mundo in that top lane, going to be dribbling his way to victory maybe for them. Alongside him is Casa on Rek'Sai, banned out. And of course, if you've been watching any of the LCS, LCK, LMS, whatever you like to see, Rek'Sai generally is in that first pick rotation. Maple, he's on Xerath. He's been very successful on Xerath throughout this Intel Extreme Masters Taipei, so no surprises to see that one coming out. And NL on Sword and Sword Art, they are on Corki. And well, Sword Art basically lives on Morgana, despite the fact actually prior to this tournament, wasn't really a champion he was focusing on. I think it was Nami actually was most picked.
Yeah, and but it's just worked for him, like, especially with the Xerath, the combo that they were playing with yesterday, that was just ridiculously time after time after time working out for them, where they chain the CC together. You know, you got a similar thing going on here as well. I mean, they're going to have Rek'Sai popping in there, Morgana followed by Xerath. Obviously, Mundo could slow afterwards and what have you as well there, but we shall see. But for the Taipei Assassins, of course, we have Lulu in the top lane for Morning Winds, who for me so far has possibly been the MVP of this tournament on Jarvan the Fourth. Chowie on LeBlanc, Lupin, who's maybe considered as well one of those MVP players for this one, played really well so far on Sivir, and Jay, who is playing Annie in this one.
Yeah, and remember, Lupin's come in and replaced a world champion in BB, so big boots to fill, and seems to be doing it very well for Taipei Assassins so far. We'll see where the morning actually goes with the Soul Stealer as well this time around.
I mean, pretty much everyone on TPA has replaced the world champion at some point, right?
They have, but it's a long way down the line. He's literally just replaced the world champion. It's the last man standing that remained, and of course the captain of the team as well that he left. But Chowie comes in. So we'll see how this one works out. It is going to be a LeBlanc up against Xerath in the mid lane, which means you would expect Maple to play this one very cautiously. Was very good at landing those Arcano Pulses, which he just did on previous matchups in this mid lane. So we'll see whether he's able to catch out a LeBlanc who you would expect to be able to dodge out of them.
Yeah, Westor actually yesterday went with the Crystalline Flask against Maple because he was just, you know, landing shots left and right, but we'll see. A little bit of a change, and actually I think that Chowie's decision and the way he's playing this one is kind of like, I'm LeBlanc, I'm in your face every time that my cooldowns are off, and so far working out quite nicely for them. This top lane, of course, with that lane swap coming in, NL and Sword Art in the top side, we'll see Morning being backed up by Jay here on that top side of the map. So a bit of a different 2v2, which will, of course, leave Sivir versus Mundo in the bottom lane, which means that Mundo might be taking a little bit more damage than he wants to work with.
Rek'Sai just off the side, Lupin playing very deep. He's going to come around. That tunnel just gives him so much position. Good shield there. I think he had to forcefully level it up there. I'm pretty sure he just leveled up. I want to quickly rewind that. I'm pretty sure he leveled up just as he came in. He did. How lucky is that? I think the boomerang went out. He leveled up just as he came in, and I'm pretty sure he just put that point in the shield.
Le Boomerang.
Le Boomerang. Is that what I said?
Yeah. Just as Le Boomerang came in.
Well,
we brought French Demon for the final for game 2.
So yeah, TPA is playing out the lane swap a lot better. What you usually don't see is that the top laner is farming all the way the jungle with the jungler. Actually, you only do like 1 or 2 camps to get that small lead, and then TP bot lane, because he should be able to 1-on-1 Sivir at this point, which he didn't do, and we see a huge difference already in the creep score in the top lane. We have like 4 creeps as opposed to the 21 of Lulu. So TPA coming very slightly ahead out of this lane swap.
Well, Wins is having a peek around that mid lane. Caster's actually pretty low on health. Yeah, I was going to say, it'd be risky if he goes into that jungle. Wins will instead take away the Raptors. Or at least he'll go towards the Raptors. Raptors, yeah, they are there. So he's going to steal those away from his counterpart, Karsa, who has been looking to make those ganks. We'll see kind of different styles of junglers, I'd say, the Rek'Sai and Jarvan. Everybody's just starting to find their feet on Rek'Sai.
Yeah, I mean, Rek'Sai is probably banned in every game, so you don't really have a lot of experience playing him. And some junglers don't even play him when it's open because they didn't have the time to practice him because he's just too good in the right hands. But yeah, we just have to see how Karsa makes it work.
Oh, going in towards Stake there. And loses half of his health just because of that. He was already quite far gone in terms of how close he was to that tower, so made it fairly safe for him either way. This top lane as well has been a lot of damage exchanged from Morning and Jay onto NL, but both Morning and Jay are also below half HP at this point, so they need to be pretty careful as well, especially since now Karsa is moving up towards this top side of the map. And look at that, the ping's telling them to get the hell away from that one. However, that now leaves them in a bit of a sticky scenario. They're going to go back 30 CS for Lulu, doing better than Mundo over on the other side of the map, so should be able to come in with a little bit more safety once the items come in. Yeah, there's Doran's ring picked up there, boots, and an Ampto.
Bit of lane tax coming from Karsa there. He's just like doing the Krugs and just like, well, if you're going to leave them all low, I'm going to come and take away some of that CS. Stake down this bottom lane. He's going to keep himself fairly handy on the tower. We'll see whether that little push away from the tower is going to work out in Stake's favour. He is still behind in CS. He should be able to pick up this wave, which will take him to around about 20. But look at this. Wins sweeping across, taking a peek at Dragon. Is he going to start it off? Yes, he is. The rest of Taipei Assassins coming in with him. It's going to be an early Dragon.
And really good calls from TPA. I mean, last game they managed to sneak a Baron out. This time they're going for this early Dragon. However, Stake is there. We'll see what he can do. They shouldn't be able to really challenge too hard. Maybe he can stick to Wins, who's low HP. Just going to throw a few cleavers their way, which will cause them a couple of little issues. But Maple and Chowie also going head-to-head. And actually a flash force there out of Chowie. He saw that Carter was coming around. Didn't want to risk the knockup.
Yeah, but Stake, while they were chasing there, they were trying to keep everything on them. He's given up so much in that top lane right now. 42 CS Morning compared to 18. He's putting pressure on the tower. He's finally going to go back. By the time he gets back into lanes, that's probably going to be a 50 CS advantage. Morning is just miles ahead so far in this lane matchup.
So yeah, there was actually a very good choice by them. They realized they got pushed off the tower, and he recalled, and then instead of going top lane again with the Lulu, they realized, oh, we can actually take a Dragon, which they did. Fairly early Dragon, 7 minutes of the game. We see teams pick up the first Dragon usually at around 14 to 15 minutes. But yeah, actually everything worked out in their favor. They even have the TP advantage right now because Lulu didn't have to use it. Still is 30 CS up right now. So it's actually looking very, very good for TPA right now.
Good chunk of gold ahead already. We're going to be seeing blue buffs gifted over to the mid laners. There is Maple getting his, I don't want to say it too early. Ah, well, funny I should say that, really.
Blue buff steal, whoops. Yeah.
That's not the first time we've seen that happen. Ocelot just chuckling in the background. And yeah, so no blue buff for the start. I mean, Chalice for Maple kind of makes that a little less effective, I guess we can say. I'm just basically making excuses for Carcer.
That's not good for Xerath. That is not good for Xerath at all. If any champion needs a blue buff, Xerath is absolutely it. I don't think he's going to be thanking his jungler too much for that one. NL taking a bit of a beating down in this bottom lane. Sword Art trying to protect him as best he can. The good thing about, of course, this matchup here is Spell Shield actually looping, putting yet more damage. Whoa! Wow! Where did that just come from? Yeah, I think the crowd were as stunned as we are. They was not expecting that. I thought he'd got away free, but Valkyrie straight away. He'd even got a still heal. He didn't bother using it because he just got caught surprised.
Now we know why they want to lane swap, actually, I guess.
Well, I mean, that was just fantastic prediction as well. Expecting him to Valkyrie through there. I mean, you have basically a split second, I think, before if you're going to pull that one off. Really well done by Lupin. And he has really shown that, well, if there was a man to replace BB, he's doing a great job of it. I was just waiting for blue buff to actually be stolen by Jarvan, or even Xerath, who had a pop at it there with his ultimate. Didn't quite work out the way that they had planned, and Chowie will get the blue buff in that mid lane there as the turret does go down in that bottom lane. So Lupin gets himself the kill, gets himself the tower, and he's going to be sat on 1,500 gold to back with now.
Yeah, something we talked about yesterday was the synergy, of course, between Rek'Sai and Xerath. You get them pulses while he's underground, the Rek'Sai, so he gives vision to Maple to see exactly where people are, so he can try and snipe with that ultimate from range. Obviously trying to go for the blue buff this time around. There's Rek'Sai zipping into the jungle, screeching his way through there every time. 10-minute mark though, we do see the Taipei Assassins once again in the lead, coming out of the lane phase pretty heftily in the top lane. Snake is considerably losing out, mainly down to the fact that lane swap early on has set him quite far behind. But the thing is, Amundo can get into the game with very little farm. Once he's got that Spirit Visage, which he's probably going to build first in there, you get that ulti run in, probably get a bit of armor. You're kind of doing okay as Amundo anyway. It's not that heavy reliant. Jay getting jumped on, he's going down. No doubt about it. Castle catching him out. Again, another good Dark Binding coming out from Sword Art there. Generally what starts everything off for them.
Yeah, I mean, he's getting the picks. He's constantly got the picks throughout this one, as we see Chowie trying to just keep them out of their jungle there. There is a pink ward to defend, and Chowie might decide to blow some cooldowns here, having a go. Well, he does use his cooldowns, but it's actually to run away. Yeah, that completely now leaves 4 men in the mid lane just against Chowie. He needs to be careful here because the Dark Binding is sudden. You can see the poke from Xerath got him incredibly low. Lupin does come out of the base to help in that mid lane. Jarvan was joining in there as well, but taking a bit of a chunk of damage did that outer turret in the mid lane.
It's fairly early to group up. Like, they didn't even finish their first items and already grouping up in mid lane. I'm not sure why they would do this.
Something I want to talk about actually is Chowie's farm in that mid lane. He's been doing incredible against Maple. He shouldn't be winning against Xerath.
Maple should be 50-50 in farm right now, I think. There was like 0 jungle pressure involved in the mid lane.
Ocelot thinks he should. It's LeBlanc. He should be farming better than Xerath, really? A little bit? Okay.
Not 30 CS at 10 minutes.
Yeah, I don't think 30 CS, but yeah. A little bit of bullying. Hello. We're going to see a dive in the mid lane. It is against Siva, though, and look at that. So confident with that ultimate running. He actually turns back and pushes in. Dragon, of course, spawning in 40 seconds. We do see Taipei Assassins start to maneuver and get position for that. They're way early. I think they were actually expecting to try and go for a gank as someone passed down the back lane.
Well, let's see. Lupin and Jay are there as well. Sword Art would be the one that may fall into that trap. Well, puts down the Tormented Soil, and Lupin and Jay back away from that one. Just want to make sure that this mid lane stays where it is and that they don't get any free damage again onto that middle tower. 10 seconds now till Dragon makes it a little bit more pressing. Rek'Sai is back home, level 6 though, and has some portals down, I think, by the Raptors. So he should be able to get fairly close anyway. And the first thing they need to nerf about Rek'Sai is the sound that he makes when he's screaming across the map.
Please change that one, my God. Wins also went back. He's just grouped up. They are in the mid lane now. You can see that Chowie was trying to get a sneak peek on towards that red buff bush just around the back, trying to see if you can blow someone up on the way in there, but they had the timing on this one, and this time Taipei Assassins are not going to go so eagerly into starting that dragon off, and they are going to see a bit of a dance around as everyone sits and waits for the farm to continue. This is all buying nicely for Taipei Assassins, honestly. Morning's doing a great job in that top lane, keeping the farm rolling, keeping the advantage, but I talked about it, Stake, you know, you can see the Spirit Visage is well underway. Once he gets that completed by probably 20-minute mark, he's going to be on into probably a Giant Spell in there as well. He's still going to be this big tanky monster that they're going to struggle to deal with.
So yeah, the longer the game goes on, the harder the TPA has to actually close out the game, because I think Flash, like the Wolves, actually completely outscale the TPA in this game. Lulu is not the greatest late game champion. LeBlanc falls off really hard too. Then you have a Sivir. Sivir does really like a lot of damage, but yeah, if you just look at the opposite team, Xerath, one of the best late game scalers right now in the game, can just one-shot you from 3000 range. Rek'Sai doesn't really lose his scaling too. He just becomes a power tank, and you have an unkillable Mundo in the team.
Yeah, could be an issue as we move forward. Chow is actually still keeping NL out. He actually might be 1v1 him. We're not looking at it though. It's happening down the bottom. NL nearly did die there, but we are down to 2,500 HP on the Dragon. Rek'Sai is hanging around. Who's going to get the better of this one? Both junglers have Smite available. Dragon says, no, I'm going to reset there. Just one tick, though, just to confuse you a little bit more, and it will be Wins that gets that one. Taipei Assassins pick up Dragon number 2.
Yeah, Morning got caught slightly there, stunned out, but didn't get taken down. Dragon was picked up cleanly by the Taipei Assassins. Interesting to see Morning actually his build. He didn't go for the Morel Nocon first, although it will be completed shortly. He got their Boots of Lucidity built out. There we go. Now he's completed it. So chose to go for those boots. Needed that mobility in that top lane. Probably down to the fact that he got paid a visit by Karsa a number of times on that Rek'Sai. Was just making sure he was safe. Talking of differences, though, we are going to see Lupin getting very close to completing the Infinity Edge. While, of course, we do see NL still quite some way off getting that Trinity Force.
Yeah, got 2 bits of that.
It's a 1,500 gold difference between the 2 AD carries right now. That is huge.
Yeah, I mean, the farm just overall for TPA is much better at this stage. I mean, 22, let's call it 23,000 to 20, so really in a nice position. They need to be careful how open they leave this tower in the mid lane, though, because there are 2 men doing Raptors. And they need to also be careful that a Dark Binding doesn't come through. It will come through. There's the ultimate out of Xerath. Wow. And that is how you blow them up. They will take Rek'Sai with them, but they might be losing job. And as well, the rocket flashing from Corki, actually, to finish that one off. And that will be a tower as well. Really nicely played from the Flash Wolves.
Very nicely played. Taipei Assassins crowd, a home crowd, not very impressed with that one. Chowie comes in, though. Is he going to try and blow anyone up? No. Swords straight back out, goes back in again. Tries to keep them guessing. This is all buying time for Morning, who pushed in that top lane, stored up very low. Jay not able to get close enough. But that's what we show. The Yeo Flash Wolves, they are not going to lie down easily against the Taipei Assassins while they took the first game off them. This one is still very close.
So yeah, we just talked about it all the time, how that one binding will just set up the entire team, and that was a very good dive actually by them to capitalize on that one hit binding. Rek'Sai coming in from the side, the Xerath ultimate instantly following up and just blowing them up pretty much under their own tower, plus taking it.
Chance to come back here for the Flash Wolves.
Oh wow, that made such a difference because NL picked up those kills.
Yeah.
It's actually only now a 500, 600 gold difference now. It was 1,500 before them kills. So that's instantly got him back in there. It's got that Trinity Force back completed on him, and suddenly Corky's closed the gap that was going to be massive. And that was all actually, Lupin could have gone back and bought. He had enough money to get the Infinity Edge completed, but stuck around because he just had to defend the tower and nobody else was there.
Actually, Yoi also pushing out onto the bottom side of the map here. Something that was a bit of an issue from before in game 1. We saw the Baron being snuck away because they had no ward coverage on that one. We saw the first Dragon of this game almost being snuck away from them. It was actually spotted out by a Stake as he realized that somehow gone missing from that bottom side of the map. But finally starting to get some wards down. However, the top side is still fairly heavily warded by the Taipei Assassins, but a bit standoffish now after that dive into middle turret. Seems to have put a bit of fear in TPA.
Look at Maple. He got a little, I think, overconfident maybe when he went back. He's like, you know what? I just got 2 assists. I could complete my Chalice into an Athene's, or I could get the Rod. 1,600 gold. That's a greedy mid laner right there, straight away.
I think that extra power, though, is probably even worth it for him. Like, if they catch the binding from Morgana, they can kill someone instantly, which they might not quite finish off with an Athene's.
Maybe he needs it to actually push the wave in mid lane and hold the tower there alone. That 80 extra AP, you really need that, because the way Season 5 changed the creeps, you actually need a lot more AP to clear the backline right now. So maybe he thought of it, yeah, I need that 80 AP to actually clear the backline with 1 Q, which it was huge on Ahri actually when they changed it. You couldn't clear the backline anymore, so you needed to build more AP that way.
We saw some amazing Ahri play from Froggen last night. He managed to turn it round, got angry at some point and turned into the Hulk and suddenly carried his team to victory. And now going to get dived on. Chowie putting a good burst on him, but again we saw that Black Shield come out was enough to keep him alive. It does mean Taipei Assassins have bought themselves a window of opportunity in the mid lane and the bottom here. Sivir is pushing in the mid lane. And we do have Jarvan coming around there. Jay's looking to maybe flash Tibbers onto someone. Yeah, they're going to go for it. There it is.
Well, are they going to kill someone? They will. It'll be Maple at the back, but Karsa doing a good job. He will pull one back for them, but that will be a 2-for-1. Chowie also waiting off to the side. NL's going to try and dive away from him, but he's going to get chained up. Chowie has to go back because of the binding there in the end. Well, they might have to just leave this tower. Oh no, stakes come down from it, but look at the damage coming onto him.
Well, he's in all sorts of trouble. He will back away. The wild growth on wins. A gigantic Jarvan. They're going to keep pushing though. Sword Art's not going to be enough. Stake's going to try and keep them away, but this could be 2 towers and 3 kills, I think. 2 kills actually for Taipei Assassins. And again, they just group up at the right time. They really have very good map sense.
So what they actually did, they pushed both side lanes at the same time to the tier 2 tower, and then because of all the vision they had in the red side jungle, it was a very easy roam from Xavi. So what they did, they actually caught people under the tier 1 tower where they shouldn't have been, because all the side lanes are pushing and just collapsing on the mid lane completely with... And Sivir just pressed R and went at them, and then the Annie coming in with the hard engage, locking down Xerath, and he had no chance of living. Even if he would have flashed, he still would have died. And suddenly they don't have wave clear in the mid lane anymore, and as a result we just see them taking 2 tower.
And goodbye pink wards.
Goodbye gold lead as well, because Lupin is back to 1800 gold advantage here. Chowie actually got Karsa with him, but that black shield will block him off. Dragon is up, binding corded on Jay. Stake just chucks that cleaver on towards him. Chowie is going to be forced away from this one. I know, you know what? Yeo Flash Wolves may actually be able to get Dragon here, because a few members of Taipei Assassins have to back away.
That's a free Dragon for them for sure.
Yeah, Rek'Sai recalled and then ulted onto the portal in the back of the Dragon Pit. Jarvan is there. Let's not call it free for now, because Wins might have a go at this one. He won't. It's too far away. That is going to be the first Dragon he game here for the Yeo Flash Wolves. Nice little pickup from them. Just going to be clawing themselves a little bit further back in this game. It is going to be a trade here, though. Morning pushing down onto that top inner turret. That's going to not quite fall. He needs another wave.
Yeah, was expecting to see a teleport actually from Stake to go up and defend that one, but instead they're just going to let it go. Do you think he could get back in time? He could have TP'd straight from Dragon.
He had to TP there. The Dragon was already in their back, so what he had to do was just use the TP to go top lane, defend the tower. He was at no threat of dying against the Lulu. What should the Lulu do? She has 0 damage to actually threat or challenge the Mundo. And yeah, he should have just defended it with the TP. But we have a
there
TP
we go.
coming in.
They're going to go in towards it. Jay tries to get the Tibbers down on them. Doesn't get the stun. It's backfired horribly. Chowie sidesteps. Can't sidestep the auto attack of NL. He gets himself a kill. And Yeo Flash Wolves find themselves in the advantage. Can they take anything more from this one? Jay will step away. And well, the teleport was used there this time by Stake.
Yep.
Are they going to get anything from it? Not too sure. Objective number 1 was the tower down the bottom. But that's about all so far.
So what they get finally, for the first time of the game, they actually are on the offensive and get control over the blue side area, which is very important for them to set up a siege. And if they can catch out someone with a binding again in that jungle, which they have to like the whole time in the tournament, then they can actually capitalize on that and then take a tower.
Well, Morning's being beaten away by Stake here, while NL does the damage on the tower. The rest of the team not with them, though. So it was kind of a partial attack. Wasn't really committed. Looks like Maple's going to go back. Deathcap going to come out here. Is he just going to wait for it? What did he go for instead?
Wards.
No, Source Boots, I think it was, and Wards.
Yeah.
Yeah, so didn't get the Source Boots. He just needed more Wards, clearly. So they need to get some vision. So not quite as exciting as I thought it would be.
We do, however, have another Soul Stealer for Morning. And I can tell you it's better news for him this time around. He's kept his stacks from the get-go. We should see.
Yeah, he's only got the 5, the base 5 at the moment, so
it's more than he had at the end of the last game, so it's all good for him. We'll see. They were pushed up there fairly heavily on that bottom side of the Taipei Assassins, but
going a bit northern on us, Joe.
Oh, they're a bit heavy up down there in that side.
Phantom Dancer picked up, so Lupin pretty much build complete. Last Whisper will be following, of course, with Stake in there. Is going to be chunking out that armor as is Karsa on Rek'Sai, so he's going to need that one to keep up the damage. but at the moment, the game has definitely slowed. You can tell that TPA, while they were confident a few moments ago, have slowed in their approach. And looks like the Yeo Flash Wolves are going to try and pin off Morning here. There's a pink ward that's going to spot him, but I don't think he's going to get away from this one.
Oh, let's see. Speedy Morning.
Remember, they got a tower.
Get out of it. But this might actually get turned around here. Windsor's going to come in, tried to flash over there.
Chowie's not with them.
Where are they? They're going to try and head them off here. And actually, I think Carter, he tries to turn down the damage there onto Morning. Almost took him as well, but now Windsor's in there. Well, he's gone a little bit too far. They have got Tibbers down inside the Cataclysm as well, but they've turned it around. Looping will have to flash away. NL's going to push through. Morning is broken, and now they're going after Jay as well. They'll get that one. That's a 4 for 3. A triple kill for NL.
That was a 4-5. Mundo was not even there.
Yeah, Stake not even with them. Chowie wasn't with them either, though, to be fair. He was too far away. I was surprised by the engage, and then when Casa went in, I thought they just completely messed it up because he's like, okay, turn, and nobody turned with him. He went in, he got a great pop-up. He managed to stun 2 of them out, but nobody was on the same page. But NL, clearly, he's one of those betas that goes in for the exit frags that you're going to go straight and go. He's like, damn it. But anyway, he got him the triple kill, and, you know, you can't complain. When your AD carry is suddenly picking up all the kills, you're happy. He's going to take the tower down as well, so suddenly Flash Wolves right back in this one. That's going to take them within 2,000 gold differential between the two teams. And this is game on.
Yeah, that was definitely overcommitment from Winst. He should have just backed out after he got the first kill, but he was very, very eager to just get another dog up and then have the team follow up, which caused them to pretty much just die and get the Wolves back into the game.
Morning is still on 5 stacks. We'll keep that count going. Of course, he did get an assist before he died.
Yeah. Did good job, son. I'm not sure why I'm calling him son. It's not even remotely my son at all. But what I want to also point out is that we now have a Deathfire Grasp, rest in peace, for Chowie.
So what I want to point out actually, what Winst did last game too, even when he was doing well, he built a Randuin's against a heavy AP composition. And Mundo doesn't do any AD damage. Corki's a caster. He doesn't have to have the attack speed slow. And we have Xerath in the mid lane. So what he should have done, he should have picked up a Locket right now at this point already. So they can actually make team fights work. But that's the second time he did this mistake. Autopilot
building, I think that was what that is, rather than looking at what you're up against. Whereas if you look at Stake, he's got himself the Warmogs now back on there. God damn, that throws me back to 2013, the Battle of Warmogs.
But the support has a Locket, whereas the enemy doesn't really have it. But you need the Locket against double AP compositions. It's mandatory to pretty much survive team fights.
I could just imagine Crepo now just thinking, what are they doing? What are they doing? So many times throughout World Championships, he was wondering why they didn't build it. What is going on here, though? The Taipei Assassins could pile down the mid lane. Yeo Flash Wolves out of position, or are they going to try and rotate towards that Baron? Stake is way out of position right now. Is he going to back away? Is he going to try and fight for it? Taipei Assassins, they're going for Baron.
It's funny you should say that. Stake happens to be in the right position rather than out of position, funnily enough, because they are going towards that Baron. Can they get it down here? Down to 1200 HP. They will be able to pick this one up. Are they going to fight? They're actually trying to run for it, I think. Sivir ultimate pop, but here comes Xerath. Morning is going to go low. Will shield himself up. They're going to sacrifice Jay there. The support goes down, and now they're going to maybe get collapsed on here. You know, Morning is ridiculously low. Lupin's 3 versus 1. He will die. That's a double kill for Casa, and they might be able to push on through here.
Yeah, Morning, Lupin, way too late with that shield. He didn't get it off in time. Casa managed to get the knock up, and that was basically signing the death sentence for him. So they got the Baron, but they lost 2 players at the same time. They have a wave coming in. They're going to take down this inner turret and the top lane as well. Oh, Morning, careful. Comes rushing in there. Maybe being a little too over-aggressive. Chowie is waiting off the side, but don't think he really wants to tangle with a Mundo. Might well bite off more than he can chew.
So even when they lost 2 members of the Baron, it's very well worth it. Wow.
Yeah.
He just got deleted.
That was what he was waiting for.
So yeah, they traded the Baron. They had to do that call, because even if they wouldn't have done the Baron, they knew they would get slowly outscaled. So very aggressive play, even risky, but they had to do it. They had to take the risk and make sure they get this Baron. So now they're in a position where they can actually win the game right now with a 3rd Dragon potentially.
Well, they're keeping that Lulu split push as well while they start off this Dragon. Teleport available for Morning if he's required. Ward placed in the back. 2nd one goes down. That's not going to get swept away. Casa's ready and waiting to try and jump across here. See if he can get that smite fight. He's going to go in now. Not going to get it. Wins caught out, though. That may be him going down. Not going to be quite enough damage coming out from Xerath to take him down. And while that was all happening, Morning kept on shoving through that mid lane and the top lane. So Waves push back. Yeo Flash Wolves on the back foot once again.
And good luck really now to Maple, because they've not just got the Sivir ultimate, they've got the Talisman as well. You saw that it was popped, and Jarvan just kind of like trots around, just dodging everything that they can throw at him. So 11-8 up, 4k gold. Can the Yeo Flash Wolves come back from this one? NL, who's dove into the back or into the fights, the last one where they did so well. He's going to be a big part of that now with his 6-2-3 scoreline. Bloodthirster added in onto his Trinity Force. Got a pickaxe there as well. Chowie going to move forward. I'm so happy that we're not going to see DFG again, because it's totally boring to see those, dive-ins from from LeBlanc in particular to blow people up.
I don't know. I quite like it.
It's a very...
/S.
It's okay, sarcasm, fine, whatever. Okay, well, Sivir's going to dive in, and Wins is going to try and join them. He's going to be the brunt of it. Carcer's going to try and take too much damage. Flashes out just in time. Wins lets him get away with this one. Stake's taking everything thrown at him. Jay does finally get the kill on him. Wins, though, caught out, stunned out. NL will pick that kill up. Sword Art actually stole it away. Scumbag support. It's a 1-for-1. Top laner down, though. They did actually take that big, gigantic, tanky Mundo down. Have they gifted on this inner turret? I'm not sure if Yeo Flash Wolves quite have enough, because Lupin is still stood here, full health. He should be able to keep that wave clear.
So we talked about it when Mundo gets his 2 items. He's unkillable, and he just tanked the entire team while the backline was untouched from the Wolves. The Jarvan ultimated the jungler, which he shouldn't have done because he had to dive in, but there was no follow-up because Stake was already tanking the entire team. So we actually see the power and strength of Mundo coming in right now at 30 minutes.
And it was interesting as well. I mean, Chowie didn't attempt to really push onto anyone there. I mean, DFG wasn't used in that fight. I was just watching the icon, like, when is he actually going to throw this in? Who's he actually going to go for? And he didn't in the end. Oh, just had a bit of a peek there towards NL. And that Bloodthirster shield, that's only going to help him so much. I don't think it's actually going to help him whatsoever, actually, in that case, if Chowie finds him.
He's going to build more right now. Maybe then he can survive a full combo from the bong.
Yeah, I think maybe Sunfire Cape to follow. We'll see where he goes with it. Chowie back down in the bottom lane, keeping the waves pushed in. That's what Taipei Assassins do very well, while they may actually start losing the team fights, which seems to be happening. They are keeping the pressure on still. They are keeping the waves pushed. You can see the bottom lane. NL's going to have to go and deal with it. And don't forget, he's lacking vision on Chowie, so he's going to be very delicate in taking and pushing that wave. He's probably going to take the one and then back completely away. That's the pressure that Taipei Assassins are keeping on them. Stake, he's done a pretty good job at keeping in it. We talked about how the farm may not be that big a deal as the game goes later. He is 100 CS almost behind on Morning, but he's got his base items. He's got everything he needs. Dragon will seemingly be the next focus. At the moment, Taipei Assassins are trying to set up some form of gank around this mid lane, which Sword Art looks like he doesn't want to trigger. He's sticking around the mid lane. Here we go. Lupin's going in.
Look at the speed of that. And again, we see it. It's going to be Sivir that goes to the front. They see him going on towards Sword Art, and they're getting melted here. This is ridiculous amounts of damage. There's finally a binding landing, but they just push straight on through. Movement speed. Use your Sivir to bait out the binding. Carry on all the way through. And that's a 3-for-0. And surely the Inhibia.
Yeah, that's just like a locomotive charging down the mid. They set up beautifully for that one, just around the corner, waiting for the moment. I think really all they wanted to do was maybe get Sword Art and perhaps another one, but it's just like, well, we've just killed 3 members and got the inhib. Everything going Taipei Assassin's way. Beautifully played.
That was probably like the best Sivir use I've seen so far, because that's what you want to do. You want to stack up, have vision control, and then just run at them. Even if they were like 2 or 3 screens away, they could just catch up, and you saw how Morgana can't do anything against it, even if she has a spell shield. She gets caught out of position, and against immobile champions like Xerath, you just die, pretty much.
You've got to be looking for game 3 now, and maybe thinking, time to ban Siv or first pick it away.
I think they should just ban Mundo. That was like the whole problem of the game, probably. We saw why it's banned now, because it's just so potent and can soak so much damage.
Yeah. What, the Sivir, you mean?
No, the Mundo on the one team. TPA had a really good composition if the Mundo just wouldn't be there.
Right, okay, I'm with you. I'm with you. But I'm talking about how for Lupin, I'm talking.
Oh yeah.
I'm talking about for Yeo Flash Wolves. They surely need to be taking this Sivir away from him because for Lupin, he's just dominating them on this.
Very great use of it, and we saw the double kill in bot lane at the 3 or 4 minute mark. Beautiful play.
Well, at the moment, Yeo Flash Wolves, while they are equal in kills, 12-12, they are far from equal in gameplay because Taipei Assassins are just tactically outplaying them. They are setting up ganks, and every time they do it, it works. Whereas Yeo Flash Wolves will be trying to set up little kills, little pockets, little bush assassination attempts. And Taipei Assassins are not falling for it. Here comes the death train once again.
Yeah, and I'm not sure Mundo just kind of running out the way of it there, hoping not to get knocked over. And NL will finally get one back here, but look at the damage coming through. Now they say, you know what, Mundo, he looks like a juicy target. Let's finish him off as well. Only Karsa and Sword Art survived. Only Chowie really lost any health there for the Taipei Assassins. Morning, by the way, has a lot of stacks this time on his Medjais. He's got about 800 HP. Not HP, 700 AP from that one as well. His shield, his wild growth does about 1,000 health. Pretty ridiculous steam train rolling through there in the end, and that will be the Taipei Assassins moving up onto game point here. Onto championship point.
Well, we were hoping we didn't see a 3-0, but at the moment, the Taipei Assassins may well make it that way. The crowd are happy, that's for sure. They are the home crowd favourites, while, of course, Yeo Flash Wolves also play in the same league. No doubt about it, TPA, they are the equivalent of the TSM in the Southeast Asian world. Very, very popular, and clearly you see why. They are proving why they've been the #1 team for many years in that region. Some fantastic team play in these last 2 games.
And I tell you what, it's also slightly worrying on a different level as well. I mean, if you think about the LMS and the fact that TPA is 7-0 and that no one can beat them right now, they're 2-0 up here against the Yeo Flash Wolves, who are the closest to them in that league as well. There's a real danger of them, you know, wiping the floor with the competition here at the Intel Extreme Masters, maybe in the LMS as well as they go through. Looking very, very strong at this stage. Lupin again, 8-3-6. I think you've got to take that Sivir away.
Yeah, I mean, every team should go and watch this game, how to use Sivir. Like, I'm not even joking, European, North American teams, even Koreans, that was like the best use out of Sivir like ever, I think. You just have that, you all sit on the pink brush with 5 people, then you just press the go button and just run at them. That's how you shut down Xerath pretty much, just run at them.
And it wasn't even like Yeo Flash Wolves were playing out of position. They were a long way back.
Very good, yeah.
And they were Valkyrie away. It was like, run! Yeah. Get the hell out of here because this pain train is coming down. And Taipei Assassins made it work so well. What do you see from this one, Carlos? Well, I mean, how do Yeo Flash Wolves adapt to this?
Yeah, I said the previous game actually that Sivir was a crucial pick, and I believe they should just identify it right now. You know, in the next game, during the next game, they should actually rate Sivir, as I said in the very first two picks, you know, for sure. And then we have this crazy combo with Sivir, Annie, Lulu, which is like ridiculous amount of movement speed for Annie. You saw it, like she just rushed like a Ferrari, you know, into them. They can't do anything. It's just really that simple.
So what I don't understand is last game they had a incredibly mobile team, did the Yeo Flash Wolves, and they got caught by Sivir. This time they had an incredibly immobile team for a lot of it, and guess what? They got caught by Sivir.
Yeah, but it's different game plan, because in the previous game they couldn't kill Sivir because of the shield, but in this game shield had no use whatsoever. Now it was the ultimate of Sivir that made them like run more and go together. It surged them, you know, surged them.
So the point is,
Sivir.
It's Sivir.
Yeah, it's Sivir for sure.
Sivir is just, that was like the best example you can give why Sivir. Everyone just asked me, why Sivir is such a popular pick. Her damage is not very good. Like 2 items, every AD carry out damages her, but it just this utility that you just saw here. It's unmatched.
If you can fight with good teamwork like that, then absolutely is the prime pick right now.
It is, yeah.
Proving why obviously everyone has switched to it. It used to be the days of Lucian, but now we're seeing the days of Sivir.
I think at the same time, the fact that Annie is coming back too, thanks to, in fact, Sivir is being played more and more, because you can see how well they both work together. Not only in laning phase, which is actually pretty okay, but also afterwards, because Annie relies on that flash engage.
Yeah.
And if you just have like 700 movement speed or 900 movement, it's just ridiculous, you know? Just go in and stun them all.
That's where a pick like Janna would come in very handy. Janna is very good at disengaging those things. Even if Sivir runs at you, you can just flash and engage the whole team.
Howling Gale straight down the whole team as they're all running as one unit.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's why Janna is being picked too, like the whole time. And the Flash Wolves kind of are in the position where they rely so much on that Morgana pick that they don't want to swap it out. And that's something they probably don't see. That they didn't lose this game because of like picks or something and just individual play. But in reality, like if they had a Janna right there, just one Howling Gale into ultimate could have reset the whole team fight. They don't have the Sivir ultimate anymore, and then we can team fight. And then Mundo would actually do work because they can just zone the entire backline.
Outpicking themselves. We'll see how it works out. So, Game 3 will be coming up shortly. Hopefully, a lot shorter break than we had in the last time. But so far, the Taipei Assassins are 2-0 up in this Grand Finals. It is the Intel Extreme Masters Taipei who will make it to Katowice. So far, it's looking like it's the Taipei Assassins. We'll be right back in just a few moments.